Happy Sabbath! Welcome to Sabbath School.
We trust in you, Jesus. You're all that we need. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. You give us hope and life that's forever. You make us bold and we stand together. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. We're off on this journey, there's no looking back. With Jesus to lead us, we're on the right track. Oh, 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 oh. Wide open spaces for wide open eyes. We're looking ahead for the next big surprise. Oh, 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 oh. We trust in you, Jesus. You're all that we need. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. You give us hope and life that's forever. You make us whole and we stand together. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. We're off on this journey, there's no looking back. With Jesus to lead us, we're on the right track. Oh, 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 oh. Wide open spaces for wide open eyes. We're looking ahead for the next big surprise. Oh, 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 oh. We trust in you, Jesus. You're all that we need. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. You give us hope and life that's forever. We stand together. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. Trusting in you. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. Trusting in you. Trusting in you. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you.
Good morning, everyone. Today for Sabbath School, we're going to read a book called When God Made the World. The author is Matthew Paul Turner, and the artist is Jillian Gamble. She draws beautiful pictures. In the very beginning, before God started doing what God does, when all that existed was wide open space, God imagined a universe and everything in it, and he began to create. God hung trillions of lights, big stars, little stars, bright stars. He turned the sky into a glorious sight. He put planets in places with moons, and in some cases, in galaxies that reach the outermost spaces. God made comets that fly with tails to the sky, and asteroids and meteors that sometimes zoom by. And with comic explosions, God set space in motion, causing planets to orbit their suns with devotion. And somewhere, amid all that swirling light, inside a cluster of milky white, among stars and planets and cosmic dust, God made a place for the story of us. Because when God made the world, God displays heaven glory for you and for me and for all the world's stories. Our planet was made blue and green sphere and designed to orbit the sun once a year. God made daytime and nighttime and climates and seasons and all kinds of weather that varies by region. God made continents and oceans and islands and seas, a North Pole and a South Pole that he put in deep freeze. God carved rivers and brooks and mountains and caves and made beaches with sand and huge crashing waves. He made tropics, plateaus, glaciers and meadows, marshes and tundras, and erupting volcanoes. God made some places high with peaks in the sky and places where snowflakes still fall in July. And in quite a few spots, God made it so hot. Should you visit, just know that you must drink a lot. He made valleys so low and geysers that blow. Underneath the earth's surface, God put well springs that flow. Then with gardens and forests and other things green, God made earth come to life using soil and seed. He made cypress and pines and bushes and vines and all kinds of trees with leaves God designed. Plants full of flavor like basil and thyme. And trees that go citrus like grapefruit and lime. God made flowering plants and plants that enchant while most you can touch. God made some that you can't. Roses, be warned, are prickly with thorns as an African melon, God covered in horns. And poison ivy's black backlash gives you a rash. And whatever it touches, you'll itch and you'll scratch. But don't let that stop you. Run barefoot through grass. Pick a flower or two, or a bouquet, perhaps. Find a tree you can climb, or a seat with some twine. Build your very own swing, or a backyard zip line. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? And when you eat grapes or pour syrup on grapes or go into a forest you go to escape, give thanks to God for all that he's made, for the fruit and the syrup and the trees and the shade. Because when God made the world, God did all that God could to create every detail for our joy and our good. But what happened next is a mystery at best. But God made a bird, and that bird made a nest. So God filled the sky, perhaps over time, with birds and more birds, and most learned how to fly. God made bluebirds and blackbirds and big birds and small birds, a few birds quite absurd, and the loudest birds you've ever heard. Crows crowed, doves cooed, chickens clucked, owls hooed, robins chirped, pheasants whirred. The world got noisy when God made birds. Then the oceans God filled with fish, sharks, and krill. Swordfish and trout, fish sleek and fish stout, and whales that God made to breathe through a spout. God made sea rays and eels and fish red, yellow, or teal, and found some fish so odd they hardly look real. Like a fish that has fangs, or a monster-like face, or a fish that flies, and one makes its body inflate. Whenever a river, or ocean, or sea touches dry land, there's likely to be all sorts of creatures living their lives on land and in water. That's how they survive. Like otters and frogs and turtles on logs and crocodiles gathering in swampy bogs. And then God made cows, horses, and goats. And God planned lions to roar and tigers to pounce. He made kangaroos, and God thought, let's make you bounce. God made bears to growl, moles to plow, and under full new moons, coyotes to howl. Donkeys brayed, giraffes bleated, jaguars prayed, rhinos stampeded, bunnies hopped, beavers chopped, and in muddy pools, hippos plopped. Yes, all living creatures, from whales to snails, from those covered with feathers to those covered with scales. Each God designed with a home in mind to develop and evolve if needed over time. Because when God made the world, every creature on earth became a part of life's circle, having value and worth. God made people like you and me, people with souls, people with stories, a global family tree. God made us all flesh, bone covered in skin, and made out of our bodies to have hearts beating within. God gave us bellies and legs and fingers and toes, and fashioned our faces with an eye, mouth, and nose. God made our bodies uniquely equipped for walking and talking, to eat and to skip. He wired our brains to feel love and feel pain, to process and learn, to read and retain. But despite all we share, we're also unique. God made us all human with just a few tweaks. Each of our faces, our bodies, our traits, our skin tones, our features, God did create. God made some people shy and some people loud, and some who thrive in the midst of a crowd. Some make music, some like math, and some are prone to blaze their own path. But always remember, because this much is true, God had a purpose for making you, you. So use every gift, every talent or stick. Make the world better with your God-given trick. Bring smiles to faces, so show love and good graces, and to those who need help in all different places. Discover a planet, a star, or a moon, or help keep the forest from dying too soon. Save a whale, hug a tree, protect every bee, recycle, repurpose, reject apathy. Because of all of creation, God whispers God's story. The mountain, the ocean, the blue morning glory, the raindrops, the sunshine, the grapes on the grapevine. With nature, God gives us a glimpse of divine. And just like a star might showcase God's light, or a waterfall give us a sign of God's might, the same could be said of me and of you. How we live, how we love, tell God's story too. Because when God made the world and the world started spinning, the story of God was just the beginning. Isn't that a nice book? I like that one. Maybe you'll be able to get that and read it too. Because a lot of times it's nice to hear a book, a story more than once. This next month or two, we're going to be studying creation for Sabbath school, and I'll have some bags with some supplies in it for you. So be waiting for the announcement to hear when you can pick it up. All right, I'll see you next week. Have a great week. Bye.
If there's one thing we can count on, it's that God will never let us down, and we can trust everything He does. He keeps His promises, we know, because, yeah, the word of the Lord holds true. We can trust
you all next week. Bye.